I want to share what I mean when I say that the Bible itself contains the Word of God in it, as opposed to the Bible itself being the Word of God. Here's a good example in Colossians chapter 1. Paul is talking to the Colossians, and he says, "Of this church I was made a minister according to the stewardship from God bestowed on me for your benefit, so that I might fully carry out the preaching of the Word of God. That is, the mystery which has been hidden from the past ages and generations, but has now been manifested to his saints, to whom God willed to make known what is the riches of the glory of this mystery among the Gentiles, which is Christ in you, the hope of glory." That's a pretty good description of the Word of God. Earlier in the chapter, he says, he's talking to the Colossians again, and he says, "Because of the hope laid up for you in heaven, of which you previously heard in the word of truth, it's called here, the gospel, which has come to you, just as in all the world also it is constantly bearing fruit and increasing, even as it has been doing in you also since the day you heard of it and understood the grace of God in truth." That's all Colossians chapter 1. So that, to me, explains very clearly what the Word of God is. The Word of God is that whole Christ's work that happened and that was being done and that was being proclaimed to people. The entirety of it. And there Paul is saying that he's preaching it. It came to them. It's bearing fruit in them. It's doing its work. It's doing that in all the world. That's the Word of God. The Bible itself contains the Word of God. To me, that's clear. That's the Word of God. The Bible itself, it contains the Word of God. That's what I mean when I say that. But to say that the Bible itself, as we read it today, is the Word of God just creates a lot of confusion for people. Not everybody, I understand, but for a lot of people, it really does. Especially for those who read it. Because there's a lot of things in there that just make absolutely no sense if the Bible is the literal, infallible, inerrant Word of God. So, do I believe in the Word of God? Absolutely. Do I believe that the Word of God is literal and inerrant and fallible? I absolutely do. I just don't think that the written Bible, as we see it and have it now, is it. I think that the Word of God is explained in depth in the Bible. And we all need that Word very much. But the Bible also says a lot of other things that make absolutely no sense if the Bible itself is the literal, inerrant, infallible Word of God.